Hey, what's going on? I had a few things to talk about. Well, we all know what it's going to be. It's going to be Wednesday. Now, do you remember in the scene of Wizard of Oz when Dorothy finally gets to the mysterious wizard and she peels behind the curtain and realizes that it's mostly a farce? Now, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy about Trump or whatever. I'm just saying the reaction is it's hypocritical. I mean, in reality, we could go back and see how people paired it out. And I'm not trying to put sides against. What I'm actually trying to do is, if anything, build a truce here, a temporary truce that just may be needed. The problem really wasn't that Trump supporters raided the Capitol. It was that they did it wrong. Um, they really should have shook hands with, BLM and Antifa, because it's more than just, you know, hiding a vote count or whatever it may be. I mean, say what you want about that, the whole investigation thing of why it wasn't taken. Me where I stand, it's a fake dossier gets you 3 years of investigations and amount of affidavits gets you nothing. If you really ain't got nothing to hide, you ain't got nothing to hide. But it's more than that too, because $1.4 trillion in a time that we are hurting the most, $1.4 trillion to include a pay raise for Congress, while we have brothers and sisters that are waiting on unemployment checks that will never show up, while we have roads that are in disrepair, while we have buildings that have been burned to the ground, while we have infrastructures that have just been old and outdated, while Flint probably still doesn't have water. We are spending $1.4 trillion to give people that make $15,000 a month a pay raise, along with all kinds of other stuff to other countries to help them out. How are you not mad about this? How are you not upset? Maxine Waters said something. I can't believe I'm agreeing with her, but she did say something. We do need to push back. We do need to take it to them. And somebody finally had enough, and they took it to their house. So what do? They just turn it into propaganda. They say white supremacists. They say, it was all Confederacy and blah, blah, blah. It was to keep the president in. In reality, it was calling Congress, it was calling the Senate to the carpet. Enough is enough is enough. They have their Italian leather shoes pressed so far on the backs of our necks. And whenever we get wise to it, they simply make up a narrative to point our eyes in another direction. I have friends that are in Antifa. I have friends that are loyal Trump supporters. I have friends that support BLM. Because why? We are people. We might disagree on political standings, but in the end, we do love each other because we are people. We care for each other. We realize that the world is more than politics. We gotta wake up. Next time, if there is a next time, that something this crazy happens, we need to do it together. Call them to the carpet. Let them know that we're not leaving until we get our answers and until we are treated fairly and we are treated like the American people we are. This might be a match that lit a fire, but it's time to make it a storm. If you're with me, you're with me. If you're against me, I still love you. It's just something to think about. Watch the watchers. See how quick they turn this next 4 years into another narrative that will make you hate somebody who has nothing to do with the way you live, instead of hating somebody who has everything to do with the way that you live. My friends, I'm not calling for violence. I am just simply calling for you to watch those who are trying to manipulate you. Cut the strings from the puppeteers.